get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I'm drinking on my usual Crown Vanilla mixed with Dr. Pepper and cream soda. And tonight's episode will be dedicated to the victims of this tornado this past weekend. Right here in my hometown of Clarksville, Tennessee. So I dedicate this episode to all those who were affected by the recent tornado this past weekend and surrounding areas. All right, y'all. So let's go and get into it. I got to talk about this, man. Draymond Green. Does Draymond Green have a problem? Well, let's talk about it. For those who don't know, he had a game against the Suns where he ended up striking Yusuf Nurkic in the face. You know, he was saying that he was trying to try to draw a foul, but he just so happened to slap Yusuf Nurkic, in the face. He ended up getting ejected from the game, flagrant 2. But this has been the pattern. This is third ejection this season alone. All right. His last ejection was for choking out Rudy Gobert. He was suspended for 5 games. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to be suspended for, at least 10 games and everything like that. But the truth is that no, this is a pattern and everything like that. And some speculation. Is it basketball? Is it something else than basketball? What's really going on? Nurkic actually, during the press conference, basically came out and said that he don't know if it's something else that's going on that's not basketball related. So while he was talking about that, I've heard a lot of people talk about this particular incident and everything like that. What should happen with Draymond Green and things like that? Where's the leadership that's coming from the Warriors organization? Why they're not putting a stop to this? What happened? And I'm gonna go to the beginning. Now, Draymond Green has these incidents, right? If y'all remember years ago, he was kicking dudes in the nuts. Like he was kicking dudes in the nuts. It was and this was like that same year where they lost the 3-1 lead to Cleveland, which, in my opinion, still, I blame Draymond because he got suspended. He was baited in. He got suspended for a game, which to me, that completely changed the entire series around. But still, he was, he has these actions where, some people say, well, he was just, he plays on the board and on that fine line. We all know a lot of times Draymond crosses that line, right? He crosses that line. But what happened is when you win, it gets swept under the rug. When you lose, it becomes a problem. And we also know what happened before last season, actually, where he actually punched Jordan Poole during practice. And obviously it was on camera. I don't know who leaked it, but I know TMZ got a hold of it. It seemed like anything that involves Golden State, bad, Draymond's a part of it. I don't know if Steve Kerr, the coach, is going to have to put his foot down. I don't know if Steph and Clay going to say, hey, look, dude, you don't have to dial this thing back. All right, this ain't the time and the place, We need you out there. But he's not doing it. He said he would never change how he plays. Well, yeah, you won 4 championships. You could have had 5, at least if you didn't get suspended that one series. But, we know what happened there. But this latest incident, uh, he was saying that he was trying to draw the foul because he was being held. Instead of playing through it, he said he was basically just flailing his arms and all that. He turned around and hit. I'm not going to speculate if it was intentional or not, but I'm pretty sure you don't do that if there was no meaning behind it. So, uh, what is the NBA going to do? Don't know. Does he deserve 10 games at least? Probably he's going to get it after being suspended 5 games earlier this year for choking Rudy Gobert. This is an issue, and it's always been a pattern. And what gets me about these people on TV, you've known this has been a pattern this whole time, but now all of a sudden the Warriors they're relevant, but they're not championship relevant anymore, right? Uh, Now you want to bring this stuff up, which I don't think is cool because it should have been brought up this whole time. And hey, I don't know who's the voice. Maybe it's just Draymond, nobody else. But even with the coaching staff, Steve Kerr, you the head coach. You should be able to put Draymond in this position. Like, you're costing us games with you not being out there because of your actions, right? And I think that's what should be done. Even if Steph and Clay have to go up to him like, hey, you're gonna have to quit this shit out. You know what I mean? Because you're not helping the team. You're hurting the team, right? Especially with the younger players on the team. We need you to help us help them, right? Not doing that. I sometimes here's the thing. Sometimes I feel like Draymond's about Draymond. That's what I feel like. I feel like Draymond's about Draymond, and I don't see how anybody could disagree with something like that. Right. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever been talked to. A lot of things he made public himself. Don't know. We don't know if it's something going on personal, but I do know this is affecting his play on the court. With him not being there, not being available, I don't care how good or bad your team is. When one of your top players is not available, it hurts your team. It hurts your team, man. Even in the workspace, man. If somebody's not there, man, it hurts. It hurts your team at work, right? Because that means everybody else have to pull more than their weight to make up for you not being there. So, uh, I don't know, man. I think this is a real bad look, man. I think the league really gonna have to let Draymond know, like, hey, what's going on? What's really going on? You know? Excuse me, but that's something that I think that's something should be probably should be asked to Draymond, right? What's going on? Even with Warriors management, right? Even the owner, reach out to Draymond, like, why you keep doing this? Why you keep getting ejected? What's going on? Right? When you get older, you have to understand there's times where you have to adjust your style of play, right? To fit what the team is right now. Every time you're in the league, right, the team is different, right? It could be different personnel, different coaching, whatever the case may be, but you have to adjust uh your style to actually help your team. And with the younger players on the team, with you not being there, like, how can you help these younger players help you continue to, compete for a championship? And in some cases, I don't like calling people out in public, right? I think you shouldn't do that unless it's warranted. I think in this case, because Draymond has been doing this stuff publicly, I think he should be called out publicly. I think that's the way he can get a message across publicly. So I don't know, man. I just think that Draymond is gonna have to figure out a way to dial it back. Still play with emotion, but don't cross that line. Don't cross that line because it's getting me. You could turn your teammates off. They don't. When you always doing that, your teammates won't respect you. I don't care if you did win 4 championships. The younger guys can't respect the guy who's not there because he keep doing dumb shit. And I you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It probably is intentional. I mean, you gotta go even with him stepping on Sabonis last year. Stepped on his chest last year, choking Rudy Gobert. You're smacking Yusef. You were kicking dudes in the nuts. You you're doing all these things. It's not you're not toting that line, man. You crossing that line. And he is a habitual line crosser. That's what I think. That's what he does, man. He crosses the line, and it's been swept under the rug because he's playing for a championship team, 4 rings. Nobody really held him accountable. There's like, as long as we keep winning, keep doing what you're doing. But guess what? You're not a championship contender anymore. You're not. Y'all made use of y'all last run together, which was magical and everything like that. But now you're not, unless moves are made, and that's the way you got to play it. Yeah, you still have that mentality, but at the same time, you're more of a detriment to your team when you're not there. So that's what I think, and I think the league gonna suspend him for quite a while. I don't know the detail. We're not gonna know the details behind the suspension, but we do know that he's definitely gonna be suspended. You have experts that's calling for at least 10 games, so we'll see how that goes. All right, man. We gotta talk about this other topic. We want to stick with sports because I couldn't even believe this right here. Right. So, let me pull on my glasses so I could. I don't even know how to say his name, but uh, he's a Japanese baseball player. To me, he's the modern day Babe Ruth. If you don't know Babe Ruth is one of the greatest baseball players to ever play. One of the greatest home run hitters. He's also, I think Babe Ruth did pitch for a while, pitched a little bit as well. So was it Shohei Otani? I guess that's how you say his name. He just signed a 10-year, $700 million contract. I'm gonna repeat that. A 10-year, 700 million contract. Now, I guess apparently now he signed with the Dodgers. So he signed with the Dodgers. He was with the Angels. He signed with the Dodgers, right? Apparently, according to Fox News, the Dodgers weren't the only team to offer him a $700 million contract. Uh, who was the other team? So I guess the San Francisco Giants offered $700 million too. Now, I don't for 10 years, 700 million. Man, I know there's a lot of great athletes out there in all different types of sports. Baseball is the only sport that I know, right? Team sport that I know where a guy could be offered 10 years, a couple of $100 million, right? But but Yeah, I kind of jumped a little bit. But I always ask myself, how come there's a lot of players that don't, you know, get into baseball like that, right? Because you'll think when you think about football, right, you gotta be worried about head injuries, right? Lower body injuries, you get in every sport. I get it. ACLs, you can get in every sport. Tennis, basketball, football, hockey, baseball, you know, track, track and stuff like that. Lower body injuries happen in every sport. But when you talk about baseball, right? Baseball is more like an individual sport in terms of in a team concept, right? And yet you got players, right, that's getting these massive contracts. Why nobody going out and say, you know what? How can I hit this ball? How can I, you know, throw this ball? Whatever. They pay money like that in baseball. I'm surprised we don't see a lot more people talking about, hey, I need to go practice baseball, right? Well, it's not a cute enough sport for you to get the girls. Here's the thing. So what? You got females out there who love athletes anyway, regardless of the sport. So, but baseball is a sport. Um, is it a long season? Oh yeah, it's a long season. I get it, right? Who gets a lot of the shine in baseball? Power hitters. You probably have the pitchers, obviously, um, and stuff like that. But guess what? Those contracts, those contracts, if they giving out contracts like that, I will be picking up a bat, ball, and a glove. See if I could get at least $100 million contract, right? See in the NBA, you know, and I know, and with certain sports they have salary caps, right? In baseball, I don't know if baseball changed it or not, but I know baseball for a long time didn't have a salary cap. So that's why you have Mike Trout who was able to get, almost a $500 million contract. Now you have Otani who got a $700 million contract. Baseball is going to be the first sport that's going to offer $1 billion contract, and it's going to happen soon, right? Because these players are coming in, they throwing a lot of money at these players, right? A lot of money at these players, and when you start to dominate a sport like baseball, you can say, you know what, this guy got 700 million. I want at least 800 million over 10-year period, right? Think about that. Over a 10-year period, 700 million. That's $70 million a year playing a sport. That's like two max contracts in the NBA. Where is my batting glove at? If they offering these type of contracts, it's going to happen. When you talking about $1 billion contract, we ain't talking about an athlete who accumulated $1 billion. One, you're not getting it from the sport. You're getting it from all your endorsements and business ventures and things like that. But we're talking about directly from the sport itself. Baseball is going to make it happen. I think baseball, what they're trying to do, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just speculating right now. I think they want to give out $1 billion contract. I think they do. I think it's going to happen sooner than later. Now that those years are probably going to be, spaced out so far. So it probably be, maybe a 15-year contract for $1 billion or something like that, right? If they good, they could probably break it down to a 12-year contract, something like that, right? No, in baseball, you could play a little bit longer because it's not so much of a physical sport as like, baseball, well, not as basketball and football or even soccer or hockey. So yeah, you can play a little bit longer in those sports. I see it coming. I see $1 billion contract coming out of baseball. It's not gonna come out of basketball. Definitely not coming out of football, right? I see it coming out of baseball, and I think it's going to happen. There's going to be a player, I think, within the next 5 years that's going to get $1 billion contract from baseball. Just from baseball. I'm not talking about with endorsements and everything like that. I'm talking strictly about baseball. From a team, $1 billion contract. I think you're gonna see when you start seeing that money go up, I think you're gonna start gaining more interest into the sport. Because a lot of these athletes, right, from wherever they from, you could be from a great area, great neighborhood, or not so good neighborhood, right? They're gonna be like, wait a minute, they giving out those type of contracts? Man, I'm playing the wrong sport. What sport you playing? Football? Oh, you playing basketball? I'm gonna go baseball. Baseball? Man, they giving out $1 billion contracts. That's the way I look at it. So, in my opinion, I believe that again, it's going to be $1 billion contract within the next 5 years, and whoever gets it, I won't be surprised. I don't know which ball club going to offer that, but I feel it coming. I definitely feel it coming. All right, y'all. Uh, appreciate you guys for tuning in to Drinking After Dark. Once again, our thoughts and prayers are to those who have been affected by the tornado right here in my hometown, Clarksville, Tennessee, and the surrounding areas this past weekend. Also, make sure y'all catch Drinking After Dark podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And episodes are uploaded weekly, so please check that out. Continue to tell your friends and family about Drinking After Dark podcast. So please follow on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and stuff like that. And also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. If y'all have any suggestions, man, or what I should try next to drink, please hit me up. I'm gonna try these buzz balls that I have. So I have those. So y'all stay on the lookout for that review that's coming. Until next time, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark podcast, and I'm out. Peace.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.